What's the worst law you've broken?
The
most illegal shit.
Okay, most illegal thing I've done.
Yeah.
I am in
Minecraft.
possession of a controlled substance.
Archivist, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello everybody. Hi, I am Archivist. I'm your resident chaotic Enfield. I'm a virgin of Earth where everything is just slightly worse. Streaming not quite retro games, doing art and causing problems. Hello, hi, my pronouns are he, they. I'm a bastard. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
A bastard? What do you mean you're a bastard?
Yes.
What do you mean when you say you're a bastard?
I mean I am the worst on purpose all the time.
But some people like that.
I mean, oh yeah, no, some people love it. Oh, some people love it. My community, they're here for it.
Oh, fantastic. What do you do on your channel? What makes you you?
So I mean, there's a lot of layers here. I think the most like surface level layers. One, I am a hell of a yapper, and I play a lot of retro games. I'm well known for, you know, I'll pick up a game and then I will pause that game for half an hour to talk.
Oh
I call myself a not quite retro streamer. I call myself a not quite retro streamer in that I played games from like the 2000s, early 2010s. It's an era I'm very nostalgic for. That is a very thin veil for the fact that I just like talking. my streams are a glorified slideshow. As far as, you know, the subject of our yapping, what I would say is like the true draw and core of my content. I am a hardcore punk leftist queer content creator. Those themes are you know, constant in my work. I am someone who has a big focus on like political activism and education, as well as just creating a chill community where we can have complex conversations on nuanced subjects, be loudly queer and transgressive, all that jazz.
Hell yeah. And oh, go ahead, sorry.
Aside of that, I, you know, do like video essays over on YouTube. I'm getting more in a political commentary direction with like my off-stream content as well, and it's been going really well. Very, very excited about all of that. But yeah, I'm a bastard.
Can you bring us a little bit through your VTubing journey? I did get to hear a little bit before stream, like, you know, like where like, you know, your streaming journey kind of started out and what kind of like, you know, what your setup was like in the beginning. But where did you start? Where did you struggle? And what does the future look like for you, do you think?
So I started streaming on March 4th, 2022.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay,
when
like
I
the
had
original push of
started...
VTubers.
No. I mean, VTuber's been around since like pandemic era, or a little bit before pandemic era.
Yeah, because like Arden must started around that time as well. So you started around the time that I did too.
Yeah, I was 3.5 years ago now. The VTubing was pretty well established, but not quite before it was pretty mainstream at that point as well, but not quite before we hit this point of like the bubble popping type situation that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
I will be so real though. When I started VTubing, I had never watched a VTuber before.
Really? Like not even like clips or anything? Just like, or like you didn't like watch their streams or?
Nope, I had never, I knew what a VTuber was. The only reason I knew what a VTuber was is because I had a friend who I'd been living with at the time. I happened to play, we were chilling in the kitchen, I was cooking. I happened to play some music, and she recognized that particular musician's voice as being a VTuber. This was like a few months before I started.
That's so cool.
That was the only reason I knew VTubers existed. I ended up stumbling into this. I started streaming because I was inspired by the Dream SMP.
I see.
I very, very strongly idolized Technoblade. He was my big inspiration to start, you know, making again. There were other layers to it. In particular, the fact that streaming was kind of my way of taking back agency in my life and reclaiming a lot of things following the passing of a close friend. I had back in October of 2021, a very close friend pass away. Went into a big depressive episode and clawed my way out, largely because of the Dream SMP, and that kind of left me with this deep desire to make something. I needed to start creating again after this long period, and following in the footsteps of you know, my at that time hyperfixation, I ended up turning to streaming. I started VTubing specifically because at the time I was in a art group chat with a couple friends. The person who created it is Spoony Plays, a very, very cool furry VTuber. And at the time, a lot of folks in the group were talking about, hey, we should all like download this one piece of software and flood Twitch with furry PNG tubers.
The best way to start.
That's the like I just saw like these furry buddies of mine in this art group chat talking about like, hey, here's the software to make a PNG tuber. Let's all become like weird furry art PNG tubers. And I was like, that's cute. Store that information away in my brain for like another month, and then I hit that point of, you know what, I'm gonna do this. So I drew up a PNG like in an evening. Went live playing Minecraft. The rest is history. Well, not really.
What's the worst law you've broken?
The
most illegal shit.
Okay, most illegal thing I've done. I am in possession of a controlled substance. So I am illegally in possession of, I think, is it a Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 drug? One sec, let me check.
What? Oh my god.
This is the edgy, silly way of saying that I am DIYing my transition. I
see.
Yeah,
what?
So testosterone is a controlled substance that you like. It is illegal for me to own this without a prescription, and it was like a very, very serious crime for me to own this prescription. But you know,
listen,
you know,
it's for a good cause. It's for a good cause, all right? It's fine.
We do what we have to. I've technically impeded an FBI investigation, if that counts. I'm one of probably I'm not probably the only VTuber you watch who can say that. I'm sure there are other VTubers who have been investigated by the FBI, but like, the funny part is it wasn't even for anything I said. You would think, being like the revolutionary bastard and loud anarchist I am, that I would have got investigated for like, I don't know, being trans on the internet, because that might have been a crime.
So okay, hold on. This might be actually be like a reality in our future. Let's be real here. This might actually be a reality in our future. Don't let's not jump the gun on that one. Oh boy.
Let's see, the real reason I actually got investigated. I was getting doxxed and harassed by some transphobic actors for a period of months. Somehow they got some of my information and were very like loudly shoving that in my Twitch chat down my throat. I was not giving them enough attention. They got really tired. You know, they'd been at this for a couple months on and off, for 5 months on and off actually, and they decided, you know what, we're not getting anywhere. They decided to impersonate me online. What they actually did, so fun fact, you don't need to log in to send a Twitch support ticket.
What?
Yeah, you don't have to log in to send a Twitch support ticket. So they sent in a Twitch support ticket impersonating me, threatening to do very bad things, things that are qualified as terrorism, and Twitch launched. So I got investigated by my local, you know, police department, by the San Francisco Police Department, and the FBI.
Oh! That must have been, that was this year. Was it?
Yes, this was a few months ago.
That must have been terrifying.
Was,
maybe
so...
I'm scared of the cops, bro, so I don't know. Maybe that's my problem.
Oh, I'm listen, ACAB. I'm sorry, ACAB, I will say that. ACAB. How do I say? Because the doxing and incident happened very beginning of May. They got my account suspended a few days later. The San Francisco Police Department call came about a week after my account got suspended. The FBI call did not come in until the beginning of, what's the month after May? June. Yeah. Very beginning of June.
What's the month after May? June.
It was genuinely terrifying, like most terrifying thing that ever happened to me. I did end up having a very lovely sit-down conversation with an FBI agent. God, I can tell you so much about like what the inside of a investigation room looks like. Chat, don't talk to cops. I found the 1% of scenarios where you talk to the cops. I think the funniest part of the whole experience is I literally had to sit there and explain like my lore to an FBI agent. Because I'm a revolutionary. There is a lot of stuff that happens in the bits of lore of mine that are posted online. I had to there's among my Ashen there's this guy named Killian who is a former paramilitary guy who I'm forgetting the term, but he's Rano. It's very much commentary that they don't like.
I see. That's why
Just
having to explain your lore. Having to explain your lore to a FBI agent.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so that I'm a VTuber, and these are animatics that I paid voice actors to help me make, and these are my OC.
Literally over here playing with dolls, and they're just like, that's great, sweetie.
Well, they're like trying to investigate.
You're like, fuck the cops. They're like, that's great, sweetie.
they had watched my content.
Oh, my condolences.
So they had a bunch of questions.
FBI agent, and what does VTuber stand for exactly? With the notepad open, pen on the notepad, going looking at you expectantly. What's a VTuber mean exactly to you?
I did have to.
And so you said, "Fuck the cops." What does it mean to be transmasked to you?
Interesting question. I mean, I definitely have some weird philosophies around gender. Gender is fake, not in that our own internal sense of our identity is fake, but in that gender is just a bunch of socially constructed rules and roles that we perform because that's how you express gender. Your internal sense of gender is real, but the external actions that we do to project that into the world is all kind of made up. I'm transmasculine because there is something in me that drives me towards a masculine identity. And I don't know what that thing is. I don't know what shape it takes, what form it has. I just know that there is something in me that is drawn towards not even an expression necessarily, but a sense of self that takes a masculine
it's very
tone.
abstract, right? Very abstract.
Yeah, it's very abstract. I have a complicated relationship with femininity and masculinity because I am non-binary. But I'm a very masculine and presenting non-binary person. Gender, I try to treat gender as a little playground. It is mine to do with as I please. But ultimately, gender is whatever we make of it. It's not real.
Gender does not exist. I think it's a lot of people who are NB tend to believe that same philosophy. And I would say I completely agree with that, and I definitely have my own personal crazy relationship with my femininity and my masculinity, so it really does resonate with me when you say that, and I'm sure that it'll resonate very well with others, and especially when you discussed, such topics in your video, which we will get to your video shortly, so I'm actually very interested to know more about it. So, gender go burr, exactly, play with it, exactly. Gender do go burr, constantly. So, how would you define the core values of being punk? What makes someone or something punk?
Yes, right. Punk is at the core of everything I do. The punk ethos is at the center of my life, of my art, of my everything. And I think a lot of people come with the misconception that punk is just an aesthetic, that punk is just a thing that you wear, a thing that you listen to, a thing that you engage with. Punk is an ideology. Punk is a worldview, and yes, the dress, the music are all external expressions of that thing, but at its core, what punk is nonconformity, anti-capitalism, anti-authoritarianism, mutual aid, and direct action. If you are someone who, despises authority and who hates capitalism, in my mind, you have the right to call yourself punk. It doesn't matter if you listen to the music. It doesn't matter if you dress the part. If you believe in those core values that, screw the government, screw punk companies, we protect our communities and fight for each other, you have every right to call yourself punk.
How do you feel about the statement, quote, keep the politics out of punk?
Fuck that, no. Punk is inherently political. punk is inherently political, because again, punk is all about nonconformity, about anti-authoritarianism, about anti-capitalism. You cannot remove politics from punk. Punk has always been a political movement. And like I am someone who's very traditionally punk in every element. I go to the shows, I listen to the music, I dress the part, but like if you are a punk, like punks need to be out there doing practice and fighting. Like that is far more important than any other element of it. Screw the posers who treat punk as a fashion statement.
What is the best part of being transmasc in your experiences?
Gender is my goddamn playground. I do whatever the hell I want. I am so powerful.
Very punk of you.
I'm so cool and badass and powerful. I inject myself with needles once a week, and those needles make my voice deep, and they like I don't know. There is a lot of power in taking agency over yourself and over your body, and forcing it to meet your needs. In taking this thing that I was given, I'm not someone. Okay. I don't know how familiar you are with transhumanism, but I'm not someone who, I think a lot of this stuff is okay. So transhumanism is the ideology or belief that like further progress for humans relies in mechanically altering ourselves. So it's cybernetic eyes, it's Elon Musk's brain chip, it's all of that stuff. I don't like that stuff. Screw that. But yeah, like I'm not a big transhumanism person, but I do think there is a beauty in like the way that I as a trans person am just forcibly shifting and changing my body and making it my own. I think that's really incredible. I have this patch on my cross pants that reads. So I bought this off a very, very lovely local musician. It reads self-made. It has a image of a needle drawing HRT out of a little vial. That notion, I adore that I am taking this body and making my own of it.
That has a really nice meaning to it, honestly. I'm sure you treasure that quite a bit, right?
Sorry?
I'm sure you treasure that patch quite a bit, right?
I love that patch.
I imagine that's actually really cool.
I put on my cross pants, actually. It was the first patch I put on my cross pants.
Aww.
I put it directly over my injection spot as well.
So,
yes.
What prompted you to make the video, I Don't Regret Girlhood?
So the idea for that video has been in my head for over a year. In fact, I've been wanting to get into video essay creation for about 2 years now.
Oh wow, quite a long time.
I tried, a couple dozen times to start video essay scripts, but it is a very difficult task for me because, fun fact about me, hi, I'm one of the scary mentally ill people. I'm schizoaffective, and one of the lesser known symptoms of that is thought disorder, disorganized thoughts. I have a lot of trouble with the act of thinking, and so writing has always been a struggle for me. So I had these dozens of unfinished scripts that never saw fruition, and I Don't Regret Girlhood was just one of those ones that was in the back of my head. It was never supposed to be my first one. There were a lot of video essays I wanted to make first. There was a Silent Hill essay that I am going to be releasing hopefully in October. There was the Barbie Horse Girls and Gender, which was supposed to be my first video essay. But I ended up getting way too intimidated by that idea because I put so much stake in it. The reason I ended up deciding to make I Don't Regret Girlhood, putting that in place and sticking to it, was directly because of that punk event I mentioned earlier about Transiversary. I went to that event with a close friend of mine who is actually one of the people I interviewed in the video. The childhood, best friend who's a trans mask drag queen. He was very, very good friend of mine. I've known him for most of my life. He accompanied me to that event, and we kind of both, walked out of it very sure, very ready to start HRT. He already had a appointment with a physician ready to go. Meanwhile, I had this vial of testosterone that had been lying under my bed for months untouched. I knew leaving that event that I needed to start HRT. But I'm the kind of person where I can't just do something quietly or casually. I need to make a fucking show of it.
How very punk of you.
I am a theatrical bastard. It was a 3-hour drive home, and on that 3-hour drive, I was talking to this friend about, like, okay, I really want to start HRT, but I need to make it special in some way. I don't want to wait until, because the one thought I had previously was waiting until October 19th specifically, which is the day I came back from my first hiatus during the homelessness saga. The kind of like, for me, that was very much a day of taking my life back. My initial thought was using to celebrate that day. I did not want to wait until October. I wanted to start as soon as possible. So I say, okay, Pride Month is coming up. I want to put out a video essay for Pride Month already. I'm going to make that video my HRT announcement.
Massive.
So I look through like my list of queer themed video essays, and I come back across, or ideas rather. I come back across the idea of I Don't Regret Girlhood. And it fit so perfectly. In my journey as a trans person, I've had to do a lot of work to like unravel and sort out my relationships with femininity and masculinity. And I Don't Regret Girlhood was very much, it was supposed to be, from the beginning, my attempts at putting words to this whole complicated relationship with femininity that had stopped me from starting HRT for so long. It all fell into place very quickly. This was the perfect point in time to like really put those thoughts into writing right before I started HRT, to get all that baggage down in a format where it becomes something palpable, something accessible, something communicable. The decision to interview other creators and whatnot was entirely because as I was going back and forth in the car with my friend, he kept saying shit that just hit so hard. I'm like, buddy, I need you for this video. It ended up, as I worked on it, turning into essentially this like this love letter to non-normative queer experiences, the non-normative trans experiences, to the messier elements of trans life, and I could not be more happy for it. And it has resonated with a lot of people.
I'd say resonated with me too, genuinely.
I'm glad. It honestly, it's hit a lot of people in some really interesting ways that I didn't expect even. I did not anticipate it getting nearly as much attention as it did. But that, like, my frantic efforts to unravel a lifetime of gender fuckery, just so I could, you know, start HRT in the loudest, most dramatic way I could muster. The fact that that could resonate with thousands of people, I could not be more grateful.
Another question about the video. Is there anything you wish you'd said in the video, or wish that you hadn't said, or wish that you'd worded a bit differently?
Originally the section on boyhood was a lot longer.
Okay. There
is a lot more that I had to say and wanted to say on boyhood that had to get cut for the sake of getting the video out on time. Because the thoughts were just not like well put together enough, and it would have required me honestly going back and like re-interviewing a lot of people, getting a lot more insight, taking a lot more time to think things out. I think it was better to cut that section than to include it in its, like, at the time unfinished state. If I had had more time, I would have, you know, really worked on getting those thoughts in order. There are definitely a lot of sections of the video I would have put more time into. There's nothing I said in the video that I wish I hadn't said. There are definitely some things I would reword a little bit. I think I could have done a lot better navigating the earring story. I felt like that story was a little bit weird and cringe and overly dramatic and whatnot. But like there's nothing in the video I regret saying. There are things I wish I had added. The comments have brought a lot more like insight and thought to it for me. People have shared a lot of personal experiences that I wish I could have spoken to. I think maybe it's better the video did not include this, but I think like the thing I get the most tempted to add when I really think about it is a section directly addressing all of the comments from like the 13 to 14-year-olds who are sitting there like, no, I hate my body and gender and being trans sucks and I regret everything about this childhood I'm experiencing. I want to gently grab them. Shake, yes. Because shake. Like I didn't feel this way when I was your age. I didn't start feeling comfortable in all of this until I was out from under the thumbs of the authority that were pushing shit on me and had the ability to start expressing and exploring myself. The reason you feel this way is because you are still trapped. Give yourself time to grow. I wish I could say to all of those younger folks that like, yeah, you're gonna feel like that right now. It's gonna suck for a bit. I'm speaking from a perspective of a much older. I'm not even an elder queer by any means, but I'm speaking of like from the perspective of an older queer person who has had the time to work this out, and I hope eventually you get to too.
How has VTubing helped to express yourself as a punk individual, a creative individual, and as a trans masc individual?
As far as punk goes, I actually did not have access to any kind of like, IRL punk scene until very end of last year during the homelessness saga. So the internet was basically my only space to express and explore my punkness. Sure, I did my DIY, I had my little projects, I had my little outfit and whatnot, but I never had the ability to go to shows or anything. My basically entire interaction with the punk scene up until December of last year was through the internet. And it definitely gave me the space to explore those things. It feels so weird looking back, how I was already treated as kind of an authority on punk when I really didn't have any experience actually living in the scene. But I do now. I think both of those have been very, very just different ends of me like growing and exploring and getting to experience punkness. As much as I think having a physical punk scene to interact with has been extremely important for me, I'm glad I had that online space to explore it first. I'm more punk than ever now. Far as creatively,
I'm putting the question here, but go ahead.
As far as like creatively, this was my way of reclaiming my creation in a period of severe depression and drought, and it has given me a space to bring back so many of my creative hobbies. I've always been the kind of person who jumped from interest to interest, from hyperfixation to hyperfixation. I've always been making something, and VTubing has given me spaces to bring back nearly every one of them. I've gotten back into music production. I've started drawing again. I do conlanging and world building and stuff again. It has also given me spaces to learn so many, new skills as well. It really just is a space where I get to be that kind of creative polyglot. It's an incredible outlet, and I feel enabled to make things. I do constantly feel like, I want to make more, make better, make bigger, and I don't always have the capability to, but like, I'm fighting like hell out here. And as far as being trans, I think I did speak to earlier that like, it was a space where I got to be loudly trans before I could in my personal life. And I'm always grateful for that.
How do you use art and music to express your thoughts on societal issues? How do you think this translates to being a punk creator for you personally?
VTubing is my art and my praxis. Praxis, for those who are unaware, is the opposite or the complement to theory. We do theory when we write and talk about like what politics mean, and we do praxis when we put that theory into action. This for me everything I do, there's a focus on punk ethos in embodying those things and making them accessible to other people. My art and music, a lot of it is in some way facilitating those same messages or centric around them. I spend a lot of time on my streams. I do believe streaming is a form of art. This is performance art.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When I am live on Twitch, I am doing performance art. All of this, like, I have such a focus on trying to educate folks and trying to make punk and make leftism and make queer theory accessible to people. Yeah, like this is my praxis. It is at the core of everything I do.
All right. Yep. Hell yeah. So then the final part, you have time for a song.
I'd be happy to. Do you want to play the thing, or do you want me to grab my guitar real quick?
Can you grab your guitar?
All right.
Please.
I already know.
I'm still gonna show them just a man song, but I wanna hear you play. I'm really curious. Oh, and don't forget the Discord noise suppression, because that'll cut you out.
Where is it? There it is. All right. Fingers dancing on the strings. I can't remember what it means. I'm searching for my own pulse, but I can't even find a note. I swear I wrote these lyrics down, but next week I'll be out of town and out of touch. But the sensation of falling is all too familiar. You can say what you want, but it won't get more real. And there are holes in the walls for the breaks in my words. I can't make a sound, I don't know what they've heard. I've spent my whole life trying to make myself smaller. Is it too much to ask to have odds on me for a change? Just a chance, a short-lived subversion, to make this all worth it, to feel like a person. But you were always a person. I always mess up this part. I know I've seen these streets before, and it's almost 4:30. I'm searching for my own pulse, but I can't even find a note. I swear I wrote these lyrics down, but next week I'll be out of town and out of touch. Okay, I need to hit go live like now.
Okay, that was beautiful. Oh my god.
One day I'll finish that song. There's gonna be like a whole nother verse, but that one's honestly one of my oldest. I look into your eyes and I think back to the son of mine. You're as old as he was when I left for war. Will these actions harm